So good evening, everybody, and welcome to a nice sunny Dublin, where it's 1st of May, and I can't believe that we're almost a year doing this, and it's been great fun. And also congratulations to Ante, who celebrates his first anniversary doing Talking Dogs with Ante. So my guest tonight is, well, judging by the comments and likes when I introduced or announced that he was joining us, Arne needs no introduction to anybody. From Norway, Dalmatian and Whippet specialist, also, as I gather, now exhibiting Lundehunds. Is that correct?
Correct.
Norwegian breed.
Yeah.
And no stranger to most countries. Arne is a very popular judge worldwide. Been to Ireland many times, and is always great fun to have on the judging panel. Welcome, Arne. How are you?
Thank you. Yes, I'm fine. Thank you.
Before we start your interview, I just want to mention one thing which is important. The Old English Sheepdog Club of Ireland are hosting a socially distanced Darkness into Light walk next Saturday, the 8th of May. Now, this is not just confined to Ireland, it is a worldwide event. As you can see, there's people in Finland. It's also not limited to Old English Sheepdog people. Anybody can do this. It's for a really great cause, for Pieta House that support and manage suicide. It's a really great cause. If you can get out and do the walk, fair play to you. But if you just want to take a photograph of yourself, just holding a candle, whatever, they are welcome. You can do it via the Old English Sheepdog Facebook page. Donations very welcome. Any donations that are made worldwide will go to the actual Pieta House of that country. It won't all go to Ireland. It's a really worthwhile cause. I'd encourage anybody to get out and support it and do what you can. It's next Saturday, as I say, the 8th of May. As it's do what you can. How have you been, Arne? It's been a tough couple of years.
Sorry?
It's been a tough year.
Yes, it's been a sad last 2 years has been very, very sad. I have not been judging since beginning of December last year, but tomorrow I will do a show again. So I look forward to do
a puppy show,
nice. Show in my district. So that will be great fun too.
And how's the COVID situation in Norway at the moment?
The problem is that the vaccination program is far too slow. So that's the biggest problem. But otherwise, we are coping quite well. So there are very few people that are dead. So that's good. And
that's very good.
Very few in hospital at the moment. So in general, we are lucky compared to many other countries. But
yes, that's encouraging.
I should have hoped that we could be vaccinated now so we can travel again.
But I think the vaccination is very slow, particularly in Europe and Scandinavia. It seems to be very slow, and we have the same problem here, although we are starting to ease restrictions now from next Monday. But whether we have dog shows or not is a matter of debate at the moment. It's not looking likely, which is sad.
We are having a few club shows, especially the Elkhorn people are very clever.
Yeah, I think that's a very clever way of doing it.
Yeah, so
to start with club shows.
Our first Kennel Club show will be in June, we hope.
All right. Okay. National, international?
International show. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's encouraging.
In Sandefjord and then in Trondheim in late June. So hopefully.
With all Norwegian judges, obviously.
Only Norwegian judges.
Yeah. So, Arne, to start off, you've been involved in dogs for quite a long time. How did that come about? Were your parents involved in dogs? Did you have dogs at home?
No, not at all. I was the only one in my class that didn't have any animal at all. So I was not very happy with that.
Oh, poor Arne.
Both my parents grew up with dogs, but I was not allowed to have one myself. So
Okay.
I traveled around in the neighborhood and find all the dogs that was possible to find to walk, and a German Shepherd and Norwich Terriers and a lot of different breeds. So that was my way to cope with it.
And so when did you get your first dog, and how did that come about?
Instead of a dog, I got a dog book for Christmas. Okay. And in that book, I found my breed, and that was Dalmatian. So when I was 16, I was allowed to buy my first dog, and that was a Dalmatian male.
And what drew you? What made you choose Dalmatians?
It was just from the book, the looks, and because I had never met one. So, okay. No, and I was lucky to find a breeder not very far away, so it was a breeder of English setters, and they had only one Dalmatian litter. So, and I got a male from them in 1977. So it's.
And then, and how did you then get involved in showing?
Yeah, I showed him a few times, but he was not really a show dog. But he got one CAC, but he also got some very goods. Okay, that was the correct price. So he was never a champion, but yeah. So, but then I was lucky to get in contact with a breeder in Oslo, and then then it changed my life.
And it took you then some time to start winning in the breed properly. And when did you achieve your first champion?
Yeah, I got my second one, a female, in 1982. And she was bred by Kennel Spotnik in Oslo. And she was out of two English bred dogs from Oldborough Kennel. And she became my first champion then in 1983.
Okay.
So at that time, you could get the champion title when they were 15 months old.
All right.
Nowadays it's 2 years, but at that time it was 15 months, and I went all the way alone in my car up to Bodø, showing under Joe Braddon.
Wow.
The same day she was 15 months old, and she got her last CAC and she became a Norwegian champion. So I was very proud that day.
Absolutely. Elizabeth Olsen says you're her very best friend, and she's very proud of you. These are comments coming through on Facebook.
Oh,
so
thank you.
So when you started showing, were there people that influenced you greatly when you started?
Yeah, that was especially Helle Høie Kennel Spotnik. She is still active in the breed, and the kennel imported many dogs from the UK, and they really changed the breed in Norway for the good. And yeah, and the breed, the Dalmatian breed in Norway in the 80s and 90s, they were very, very strong. So that was the breed's heydays, really. So I was very lucky to be part of that.
And how important do you think it was to have people like that advising you or influencing you when you started?
Oh, it was very, very important. Helle was, she is a great person, and I wouldn't have been here today without her. I think she meant a lot to me.
The comments coming through here on Facebook are brilliant. Silv Hilda Ovare, I hope I pronounced that right, says all Norwegians are proud of you.
Oh, well,
so
thank
that's
you.
The hell of a comment. So Dalmatians, Arne, tell me, what is it about Dalmatian? What for you is the most important quality of a Dalmatian?
That was a good question. Of course, we in the breed we think that the spotting is the least important. A lot of other things are most important. Of course, type. It should be an attractive breed, not too coarse, but absolutely not too elegant. They should be robust, and the male should look like a male and the female like a female, and they should be a very positive dog. They are active, they are very positive, and their movement, when they move correct, it's a very important feature of the breed.
That's interesting that you mentioned about the spotting, because
I learned from the beginning that all rounders were focusing on the spotting, and the breed people, we are, of course, we love a good spotting dog, but it's not the most important in the breed. Absolutely.
Because I find that very interesting, because I tend to get hung up on spotting as an all-rounder judge.
Yes.
Now, obviously they must be sound, and they must be typey, and they must obviously
type, temperament, movement, top line, forechest, bone, head, expression, and then we can talk about the spot.
Okay. Right. And your first champion was which dog?
That was Spotnik's Busy Bee, out of 2 old barrel dogs from England, made up in '83 under Joe Braden. Yes.
Okay.
And I had 2 litters with her, so made up my first champion some years after for my own breeding.
And you've also moved then into Whippets?
Yeah, that was in 1990. I got my first Whippet.
And how did that evolve? And again, why Whippets?
That was because I loved the breed for many years, and I was looking for one. I got in contact with Nenne Rundsten, Kennel Air Scott, and I got my first one in 1990. So, and since then I had, always more than one at home.
Okay, and again, same question. The most important quality for Whippets?
Balance.
Because you do see very varying types around the world.
The fascinating thing with Whippets that you can find top quality dogs all over the world. Well, sometimes a little bit different, but in general, compared to my other breed, Dalmatians, I think Whippet, the quality of the Whippets, you can find super Whippets in every corner of the world. That's so fantastic, I think.
And again, the most important quality in a Whippet for you?
Balance, no exaggeration. They should be quite moderate, but still attractive. That's not so easy to achieve, but I love to see a moderate but eye-catching Whippet. That's with the correct movement, daisy cutting front movement, not too exaggerated in top line, but of course not too flat either. So moderation, balance, harmony, it's most important. And a nice expression. It's not a head breed, but a nice expression is always nice to see. And I also love the forechest. They should have a forechest. And Whippets too.
And in terms of an exhibitor, what would you think was your biggest achievement?
Nowadays, I'm not showing so much. My kennel partner Elisabeth, she's doing the showing, but when I was showing myself, I think it's I was best in show at the international show with my Dalmatian female, and she was runner-up dog of the year in Norway in 1998, and I was the breeder of the Whippet, who was top dog all breeds in Norway in 2000. That is
which would be this girl.
Yes, that was Paper Moon, Parisian Maiden.
And explain to us what made her so special.
She had that moderation, I think. She was not too big. She was not too long. That's that's her again. It's a painting of her. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. She was nice. She moved extremely well up and down and had a nice side gait, and she was correct size and very, very feminine, and she loved to show. So we had a lot of success with her. So
she looks, again, you talk about balance, she looks beautifully balanced.
She was very balanced, yes, and
yet moderate.
I was, yes, correct. And her mother was bred by Gerd and Geir Flucht. They were living in England. Now they were living in Sweden when I got the mother of this one, and he called Hubbestad Dutch maid, and she was a lovely brood bitch, and she was the daughter of Penclow Dutch Gold, the Crufts Best in Show winner.
Oh wow!
And
wow.
That was my first visit to Crufts, and in '91, and he was Best in Show, and a few years after I got a daughter of him. That was quite something for me.
And you've also been involved heavily with Great Danes.
Yes.
And you, again, in relation to this question, as an exhibitor, you sent me this particular photograph.
Yes, that was only 2 years ago. One of my few times in the ring nowadays, showing our Elizabeth and mine. Johan is called. Is a Great Dane born in Sweden, and we have had a lot of winning with him the last few years.
And of course, a fellow Irishman beside you, Billy Henderson.
Correct. He did the breed and the group, and Per Christian Andersen from Norway did the Best in Show, and he was runner-up, only beaten by a super American cocker from my area, so from my friend.
There can always be, yes. There's no shame in being beaten by a beautiful American cocker.
Correct. Yes, correct. That's true.
I have to try. I've already been asked now, because you are also involved in another breed, the Norwegian Lundehund. Now we're going to have to talk about this at this point, because people are already asking me to ask you. I hope I have found the photograph somewhere. Tell us about the Norwegian Lundehund.
I've been fascinated by this breed since I came into the dog world, and for the last 20-25 years I have said that one day I will have a Lundehund, and now I thought it was time to get one. So last year I got my first one, and it will for sure not will be the last one, because I really love the breed, and I hope to promote it together with other enthusiasts, for this is a very unique breed.
And tell us about them. What are they bred for?
They're bred for hunting the puffin, the birds up in the north.
Really?
Of Norway. Yeah. So and they are not allowed to hunt any longer, because they are not a lot of them. So they are not allowed to hunt. So they cannot be used anymore. But they are lovely companion dogs, family dogs, very sporty, small size dog, with some unique features like their extra toes on their feet. They have. I can try to show you.
I'm just trying to find it.
You can see here she has extra toes.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, all her legs. She has beautiful toes.
Oh, she loves her father.
Yeah, she does.
And are there many of them around?
Yeah, there are about 100 puppies registered every year, but there are quite few.
I'm just
quite few, and they are not very known outside Norway. But we have some good breeders in the Netherlands. We have in France, and in America.
I didn't actually download, but I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, that's my female.
Are they similar to a Swedish?
They are not
Farm
similar
dog?
to anything others. They
At
are
all?
very,
No.
very unique. There are some really. It's maybe the most unique breed in the world. So, and they have the extra toes is very special. They are very flexible in the neck, so they can turn in. They are going into the holes in the up in the mountains, and they can.
Are they recognized by FCI?
Oh yes.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
they are. So we have breed clubs in Norway and Sweden, and there are a lot of them not a lot, but they are known in Finland and Denmark, France, the Netherlands, and we have some breeders in the States.
And somebody is just commenting that they are used at Tromsø Airport to collect seagull eggs
Correct.
every spring to prevent
Yes.
birds at the landing strip. That's a very
Correct.
unique dog.
It's a very unique breed, so I hope that they could be more known outside Norway too.
And in terms of character?
The gene pool is very limited, so it's the character, they are very pleasant dogs to live with. It's a group 5 breed, it's a Spitz breed, so they are a little bit more noisy than a Whippet.
Okay,
But they should warn if something is happening. So I really love them. So
that's very interesting.
And they are, and you should read the standard, because it's so special, because they should be narrow behind when moving, they should be loose in front, so they are everything
that's completely unique.
Everything that is wrong in another breed is correct in the Lundehund. They should not have very dark eyes, they should be quite light. And
so everything you don't want.
Yes.
I look forward to seeing one in the flesh next time we're in Norway.
For sure, I will love to show you the breed.
And you're also involved. You also breed Sharpei.
Yes, I have a beautiful Sharpei from Greece.
So very diverse.
Yes, and that was just it was not a plan at all. But I was judging in Syros, a beautiful island belonging to Greece, and I put up a Sharpei for best in show, and I told the handler and the owner that this is the best Sharpei I've ever seen. And then this male, they got a litter, and he was the father of the litter, and I said, the beautiful female puppy, I would love to have that, and they said yes, we can send it to Norway. So
I love it.
So, and I know her, she's the queen of the house.
Oh really?
Mm.
Yeah. And are they good to live with, Sharpeis?
Yes, she's a super dog to live with. Absolutely.
So when you're deciding to have a breed a litter, when a bitch comes into season, do you study pedigrees, or do you use your eye, or is it a combination of both?
Absolutely a combination of both. And the best litter I have ever had, that was the litter with this dog of the year in Norway, by this Hubbestad female, and she was mated to American dog living in France. And I saw this dog at this famous Skokloster show in Sweden. I saw a lady walking her dogs quite far away, and I told my friend Björg Foss, who was walking her dogs together with me, that this dog is interesting. I want to use this one on my female. Do you know who it is? Oh yes, and she know the owner and the dog, and she came all the way from France to show at this show.
Wow.
And the day after, he was best in show at the Whippet Club. And I was, of course, not less interested in him. And then he stayed in Sweden after the show for quite a long time, and I went there to mate my female, and out of this came the best litter I have ever had, with only all 6 dogs were champions except one that had 2 CCs. So it was just a brilliant litter, and absolutely without checking any pedigrees. It was a total outcross, but I just felt he was right for her. So sometimes that is the best way. But of course, it's interesting with pedigrees. And we do a lot of matings in theory. Looking at pedigrees, it's very interesting. But we are not very big breeders. We have a litter only now and then, and so but it's always interesting to make plans.
Yes. And in terms of your judging career, when did you first start judging?
I judged my first puppy show was in 1990. So that is more than 30 years. And in 91, I did my first open show for Dalmatians in Oslo. And in 95, I did my final exam to become an official judge. And yes, and in 96, I judged this club show for Dalmatians.
That was your first. That was your first championship show.
First CC show in Norway, and that was still a super memory for me. It was 107 Dalmatians entered.
Wow!
I think that was at that time it was a record, and I think it's still quite. It's a very good number. So that was in the Dalmatian breed they were very strong at that time in Norway. So.
It's a breed that is it's a breed that is actually still very strong in most parts of the world, isn't it?
Yeah, but they have gone down in numbers in Norway and also in the other Nordic countries. But there are still some nice ones to see, but the quality in general has gone down a little bit.
Okay, that's and when you started judging first, the best piece of advice that you were given, can you remember what that was?
Oh yes, to judge the dog on the day. And I still think that is a very good advice.
Yes,
because you very often see dogs, they can have good days and then they could have less good days, and you have to judge the dog on the day. It's very important, and to use the same time and the same concentration and to the first dog and to the dog number 90. It's also very important. So
actually, that's an important point to make, and for any up and coming judges that are watching, that you really do, no matter how many dogs you have, or no matter how tired you are, you've got to give the last dog the same amount of time as you gave your first dog.
Correct. And there are some dogs that are not that interesting to judge. And some dogs that get very low prices, but you shall use for the novice exhibitors. It's very important that they feel that they have got something from the minutes they are in the ring. So that is very important for me to take care of the new ones, that I can feel and see that they are not very they
experienced,
not very experienced. So I feel we have to pay extra attention to those.
And in terms of young judges and aspiring judges, how important is it, do you think, that they ask questions of, for instance, if they're doing Dalmatians, they talk to you, or that they ask questions of experienced breeders and judges?
Oh yes, it's very important. I have done myself a lot that sitting ringside talking to experienced breeders. And nowadays it's much more easy because of internet and Facebook, and we can and today I can sit at home and read all the critiques from the Hound show 5 hours away from me, so I can read it online. So everything is much easier now. We can have breed compendium on the internet, and all the breed standards are easily on app FCI app and everything. So everything is easier now, but we still have to talk to people and learn from experienced breeders. Absolutely. Most important. Yeah.
And in terms of your judging, how many breeds do you judge now?
I'm an all breed judge since 2010.
Yeah. And do you enjoy judging abroad?
Oh yes, a lot, especially abroad. I'm not judging that much at home. A few shows every year, but I mostly judged in Sweden, Finland, Denmark, and other countries. And I love to travel, and I love to judge in new countries, and yeah.
So you must miss it right now.
Absolutely, I really do miss that. Yeah.
Can't wait to get back to it. And aside from Dalmatians, Whippets, and your own breeds that you're involved in, is there a breed that you really enjoy judging?
Oh, there are many. Almost every breed, if there are some nice ones to find. Yes, I love to judge Great Danes, of course, Lundehund, Lagotto, because I was involved also with Lagottos a few years, Chihuahuas, Dalmatians, Whippets, and all the sight hounds, absolutely. And to mention a few breeds that I have not been involved with, I have to mention Newfoundland, and Golden Retrievers. Yeah, but a lot of breeds.
And Newfoundlands are a breed that have perhaps fallen a bit like Dalmatians, that the numbers and the quality is not as good as it used to be some years ago.
Correct. I judged at the World Show in Milan. I judged the Newfoundlands, and the quality was very good, but the numbers has gone down here as well.
Anne Ingram says hello. Michael Forte says hello.
My favorite Irish people.
Julie Crowley says you're always very sympathetic when handling dogs on the table.
But that's important, I think.
Absolutely. It is one of the most important things, I think, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Is there a fault that really irritates you?
Yes, I'm quite happy for that question, because I have some pet hates, what you call it. Bad feet, but that is quite. I know quite a lot of churches say that.
Yeah. Hello, yes, me too.
Yeah, but I have two others as well, and that is unbalanced angulation. I think that is more common nowadays than before.
Yes.
So very bad angulation in front, very, very straight, no angulation, and then over angulated behind.
Yes.
And all in addition to that, they will have this sloping top line, and only a few breeds should have that.
Yes.
But others are also creating this awful top line that is not correct for the breed, and that is, I really hate to see that. And some handlers do it worse to just make it even more visible. So I really don't like that. And
yes, there is a tendency now. You're quite right, and it is creeping in a lot of
breeds,
particularly in some Group 7 breeds and Group 2 breeds. This need to stretch the dogs out so far that they have this sloping top line, which they're not supposed to have.
Yes, yeah, it's correct in a few breeds, but absolutely not in all.
Yes.
But the last thing I will mention is small teeth.
Yes.
Because that is creeping in
a lot of breeds.
Many breeds. Yeah. Because when I started out in dogs, it was a saying that, oh, look at, if you open the mouth on a Saint Bernard, they have so small teeth, and that was correct. But nowadays, it's more and more breeds going the same directions. I did the Bernese Mountain Dog Club show 2 years ago, and I had to stop judging and have a little speech and telling them that you are getting so small teeth. It's totally, it's so, it's not good. It's a big breed. They should have strong, healthy teeth.
Yes. Yes.
So, and a lot of breeds are going the same direction. So that's,
Andrea Affenbach is saying she's looking forward to you going to the UK next year.
Oh, yes.
So you must be judging over in the UK, obviously. And Colin Rose Hastings, say hello.
Oh, good.
The mad Irishman.
Yeah, I know. Oh, yes. I love that. They're very much like the Norwegians in
Yes, that's because you invaded us so often.
Sorry?
That's because you invaded us so often.
Yes, I know. I know.
Yeah. So in your judging career, has there been a particular dog that you've judged that in your opinion is as close to perfect as you have seen?
Oh yeah, that was a tricky question. I have quite a lot. It's
well, you showed me some photographs now. There's a standard poodle, first of all, yes?
Yeah, I have 2 standard poodles that really, and this one to the left here is an American poodle living in Sweden, Tamaya Huffish, copyright woman, I think it's the name. I think when I went over her, everything was so correct under this coat. So I really love this poodle. She was just outstanding, and she was best in show that day when I did the breed and the group. And she was marvelous. Really, she's maybe one of the absolutely best dogs I've ever judged. And then in Italy, I had a black standard poodle male in my ring, and I have no idea who it was, but he was the one who was the Crufts Best in Show winner just a few months before. But he was staying over in Italy on his
Ricky
way to Peru, and that was Ricky.
Yeah, he's stunning.
I made him the group there, and after my judging, I got to know that it was him. So I had no idea that he was there. So that was a great surprise. And these 2 poodles, I think, they're standouts. They're just amazing, amazing dogs. But I have a few others as well. So I have to mention a few breeds that are not so often winning, and that's a Neapolitan Mastiff I judged in Melbourne, Australia. Also one of my absolutely best dogs ever judged. She was so sound and so full of breed type, and just amazing female.
And you sent me a breeders group as well.
Yeah,
which I find is absolutely, I mean, that they are stunning.
They are so similar, these 4, and this is a Swedish breeder, Helene. It was in Tvååker in Sweden when I did this breeders groups, and in Sweden it was an all breed show only on one day, so the ring was full of breeders groups, and this one was even a standout. Just amazing group, and the photo is also very nice, I think. So
yes,
it's a good memory. And I also have one dog more I have to mention, because I love her so much, and that is a Deerhound from Sweden, Airscott Gillian Lynn. She's one of the best dogs I have ever seen, all breeds.
And that's difficult to get a Deerhound.
Just amazing. She had all you can wish for in a Deerhound, the nobleness and everything, the correct movement, the outline, the coat, the expression. She had everything. I loved her. And I was so happy to judge her when she was a veteran, one of the last time she was in the ring. So That is.
It's difficult to get a really good deerhound. So let alone one that gives you a wow factor or.
Correct. So.
And in terms of dogs that you've seen that you've never judged, but you would love to have judged. And again, you sent me a photograph of this.
Yeah, correct. Oh, I would have loved to seen her live and to judge her. That is Nutshell of Nevedit. Very, very famous English.
And what made her so special, Arne?
Oh, she was far ahead for her time. Beautiful outline. Not too exaggerated, and she moved well, and lovely type, top line correct, balanced, really, really top quality whippet. I would have loved to get my hands on her.
She looks beautiful, actually.
Yeah, and she was top dog all breeds in the UK, I think.
And when would that have been about?
That was in the late 80s, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so that long ago. And in Irish exhibitors, how do you deal with people that don't agree with your decisions? Maybe they don't.
I don't think it's a big problem. Usually 99.9% of the exhibitors are okay. So I don't think it's not I have heard some stories, of course, but I have never experienced myself any bad things. So I try to, if possible, I try to explain if they want to know.
Okay.
And that's why I love the critiquing, because to do critiques, it's very good.
And in terms of, again, your judging career, your biggest judging achievement?
Oh, I have a very special place in my heart for the shows in the UK and the British Isles. So to judge at Crufts, the junior handling competition this year was just fantastic.
Yes, of course.
To just Windsor last year and had a great entry of Whippets was fantastic. To do the Dalmatian National in Melbourne, Australia, many years ago was just unbelievable. And I have been honored to do a lot of world dog shows and European dog shows. So
yes, and this is the World Dog Show, is it?
That is the European dog show
European.
in Warsaw, in Poland, where I found this extraordinary whippet. She was just amazing, and I was so proud when Espen Eng did the Group 10 and put her first. It was a very special day for me. And now I have her daughter laying in the sofa.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that. You mentioned critiquing a few minutes ago. Do you enjoy critiquing?
Oh, yes.
And do you see them? Do you find them valuable?
Absolutely. If it's done correct, it's absolutely the best way to tell people. But it's important to not only write the positive things. You have to be honest to write also the negative things. Otherwise, it's not worth anything. So to only say a good type, nice head, moves well, it's not. That's not good. But you have to be honest, and you have to do it very detailed, and you have to point out what is important for that special dog, and what is the reason for the price you give the dog. Because in addition to that, I like the critiquing. I also like our system, FCI system, where we grade the dogs, giving excellent, very good, and sufficient. I love that.
But in fairness, and you have to be brave enough. It's not brave enough. There are those that will give out excellence all the time.
Yes.
Which in actual effect is really abusing the system. And there are those that give out too many very goods.
Yeah.
You do have to find that fine balance of just, giving out very goods when they are deserved, and excellence then when the dogs are actually excellent.
Yes, correct. It's a balance, and it should mirror the quality of the breed. If the quality is bad, it should be a lot of goods and very goods, and maybe
Yes.
sufficient as well. But if the quality is super, I love to give only excellent. So it's
yes.
as easy.
But do you not think that there are some judges that are almost afraid to give out too many, to give out very goods?
Yes, especially foreign judges coming to Scandinavia. That's sometimes a problem. Because they are afraid. They are not used to it. I'm lucky to be born into it. So I love the critique, and I love the gradings, and I would think it would be good for other countries to do the same.
Yes, and the CK system. Do you enjoy that?
Absolutely, that's another very worthy thing for the Scandinavian system, that we have the CK on the top of the excellent. It also is. I like it a lot.
Yeah, particularly when you have a strong class of dogs. It's it is very. Or you have the opposite, where you may have a dog which is, there's nothing really wrong with it, but it just lacks that little bit of oomph or extra quality.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it's an excellence type, but it's just not CK on today.
Yes.
I love it, I have to say. I absolutely love it.
And I think a lot of foreign judges coming to Scandinavia for the first time, they think in the beginning it's very strange for them, but many of them like it. And when they understand the reason, they really like it.
And of course, in Norway now, there is no hiding for judges, because once you give your critique, it is automatically uploaded onto the website.
Correct.
So,
all the shows.
You're sitting there. It is actually quite nerve-wracking, because you are actually sitting there, and while you're going over a dog in open, they're reading your critique from the previous class. You can,
and I think that after we start doing that, the level of critiquing has been gone up. The judges are putting more
very interesting,
on
actually.
doing
Yes.
good critiques. So I think it's only for the good, and
yes,
we can sit everywhere in the world and reading the critique. So it's really, really super.
Well, that's very good. And in terms of judges, do you think judges have a role in the development of breeds, or and if yes, do you think judges understand that role?
Yes and no. We have absolutely a role, and I think we take that seriously mostly, but it's important to read the breed standards carefully before you are judging, because it's a tendency, I think, to make especially movement more, that all breeds should not move like an Afghan.
Yes.
They should move like the breed they are. So
yes.
Sometimes that is a problem, that we don't focus on the important breed details, and in some breeds they are very similar. So there are only a few things that differs from another breed, and that's even more important to take care of the important breed points.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, as I said, the movement, they should move like their breed, especially with the Lundehund. They should be loose in front, they should be narrow behind, and the side gate in different breeds, they are very, very different. So we should keep that difference. So we are not good enough in that point, I think.
You mentioned that they should move, like a breed should move like it's supposed to. Just there is a tendency these days, particularly within Group 9, that the Bichon Frise or the pug is taken almost at a trot. What your thoughts on that?
Sorry, I didn't.
How do you feel about that? That some Group 9 breeds that, like the Bichon or the pug, people are running with them in the ring.
Yes, I'm very happy that you mentioned that, because I forgot to say that when we talk about the faults we see in the ring. I really hate this running around. They are spoiled. They are really spoiling their breed with running too fast, and I think most people, they do it without thinking at all.
Perhaps.
Perhaps. So no, every show I'm judging, I'm stopping the exhibitor and say, please move slower. So that's that's a tendency for many years, I think, moving far too fast. Not only in the breed ring, but also in the group finals, of course. In the big ring, when they have a lot of space, they are moving like
Afghans.
Yes. Yeah, they are moving like they have stolen the dog. So.
And do you personally like dogs to be moved on a loose lead?
Oh, yes. I like to see dogs move on a loose lead, and when they come back to the judge, that they stop the dog without touching it.
Okay, yeah.
Then you can see it stands naturally.
Yes, yes. Yeah. We American cocker people are devils for not doing that.
Yes, there's some tradition in different breeds, and in general, I think that the handler should do what they think it's the best for the dog. But sometimes you have to correct them if it's it's so. But especially this running, I really hate that.
Yes, it is one of my pet hates as well. Group 9 breeds are not supposed to be, they're not supposed to gallop around a ring.
I saw a video last day on Facebook with the French bulldog.
Yes,
and he was running, really running, and it was so awful to see.
So and I'm being unfair to Group 9, because it happens in Group 3 as well. It happens in a lot of breeds.
In all groups, I think.
And it's just a fashion that has started. And the other one, while we're talking about fashions, there is a tendency these days to do a lot of double handling with breeds that are not traditionally double handled. Do you stop that? I mean, sometimes it gets ridiculous where there's people outside with whistles and etc. Do you stop that?
Yes, I do. If it's spoiled, if it doesn't, if other exhibitors and other dogs will get a bad experience with that, I really hate that, because it's unfair for the other dogs. So
yes,
but in Norway we have not so much tradition with double handling. It's only the German Shepherds
similar here,
the club shows, but
yes,
otherwise it's more double handling in other countries, I think.
Yes. Yes. Okay. And when you're judging professional handlers, do you tend to judge them a little harsher in terms of what are they hiding, or do you treat them the same?
I try to treat all the same, absolutely, because in Norway or in Scandinavia we don't have many pro handlers at all. So I'm used to the novice or the breeders are showing the owners are showing the dogs themselves, and in a way I like that very much.
Yes. Yes, it's very
But
similar here.
yes, I know. So, but in general, many pro handlers they are very, very clever with the dogs, and they're showing them always good temperaments, and they are in good condition, and they are quite polite in the ring. I have good experience with the pro handlers, so it's not yes or no. It's I can cope with both, but I think for the Scandinavian dog the system here, it's good that we can show our dogs ourselves and still manage to win.
Yes. As I say, it's very similar here. It's very similar.
I know.
Now you're very involved with shows. You're also very involved with the Norwegian Kennel Club. How important is it to you to give something back to the sport?
I think it's very important. I think it's for me. I say it's not a hobby; it's a lifestyle, and
yes,
all my education I have paid for myself and and everything. But still, I think I love to work with the younger people, try to get them involved, and it's important to give something back. Absolutely. So I have a lot of courses. I have a lot of ring training, social training with puppies and locally here, and it's very, very nice to do that.
And you just said you deal with juniors. How do you think we encourage younger people to stay within our sport? It's very difficult, and it is a worldwide thing.
It is. So I remember first time I visited Iceland. That is maybe 15 years ago, and when I come home, I was so enthusiastic because in Iceland there were and there still are so many young people involved in the dog world, and it's possible, but maybe we older ones are not clever enough, and and it's also I think a tendency nowadays that the younger ones they have so much other things to cope with nowadays with family work and everything, so they are not they are starting quite late, and they want to maybe come to the top very fast, not walking all the steps that we had to do. So it's not easy. It's not an easy question, but one of my goals is to have more younger judges coming in so they can get more experience from an
absolutely
early,
Just bear with me 1 second. Sorry, I disappeared there for a second. And do you think we involve them enough in the organizational side?
No, we don't. Absolutely so.
Because it is very interesting, the organizational side, if once you get involved with it.
Because I see sometimes they don't want to do it, but we have to encourage them more. Because look at Iceland when they when they manage to do it, so it's possible. But we are quite conservative group, I think so. We have to,
I think we're a bit wary as well of young people coming up too fast.
Correct. I know.
Sometimes,
yes, but we have to give them the chance. So I'm in the judging education committee in Norway, and I tried when I meet young people that are enthusiastic and I can feel that they have the eye for the dog. I try to say to them that okay, we want you as a judge, and we want to see if you like it, and you can have a try.
Yes. Zarika Blomqvist sends her regards.
Thank you.
So, on a more serious point, this whole issue of health, these activists and health issues within dogs. Do you think kennel clubs are dealing with this correctly?
It's better now, because now we have to do something with it, but we were taken by surprise many years ago. Yeah, so we were not clever enough, not the judges, not the breeders, not the kennel club, but I think we have waken up. But maybe a little too late, but I think when I'm judging breeds with short faces and so on, I think the focus on these points are much more focused now than a few years ago.
Do you think kennel clubs should adopt a common policy? Do you think FCI should be a little bit more proactive? I mean, we know these activists that are targeting us are very heavily funded. They're very political. They have a very big political know-how.
Yes, correct.
Should we not be doing a little more in that area?
Together, yes.
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think, especially the Swedish Kennel Club, with Göran Bodegård leading that, they did a lot with this breed-specific instructions and put that on the map, and they were very clever because they involved also the breed clubs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that it was amazing how successful that was in such a short space of time.
Correct. Yeah.
And it really was.
It was. So that is something we can learn. I think so. But it would be very nice if this could be,
Yes.
A worldwide.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're having a dinner party.
Yes.
4 guests that you must have at your dinner party.
Oh, it's totally impossible, to be honest.
I will
have a big party with hundreds.
I won't limit you to 4.
Yes, and I have made a list, I promise you. And two women and two men. And the first one is Hans Lehtinen from Finland. Sadly not here any longer, but my mentor and one of the best dog man I have ever met. Just unbelievable man with a great eye for a dog and a lovely person as well, and a great mentor. So he would be there. And then Ole Stamskjær from Denmark, Kennel Blåholm, and an all-breed judge and a very good friend, a lovely dog person, a great judge, and a breeder of Great Danes. He was the 2nd generation, and he's one of the oldest kennel prefix in the world, I think. Kennel Blåholm. Yeah. So these 2 men would have been at the party.
Amazing how many. It is amazing how many judges will select Hans.
Yeah.
As one of their guests. He was very influential.
And a fantastic person as well.
And
with a memory for dogs that is unbeatable. He could remember dogs many years ago, and I was a ring steward for him many times, and I have some super memories. And I remember he was judging at the local show here in Oppdal, and he saw a man with a French bulldog ringside, and he said to me, "Do you think he will come in my ring?" Yes, I said, he will surely. You are doing the Frenchies, so he will come. But I cannot. I judged this dog 2 years ago in Sweden. I gave him a very good, he said. So why didn't he bother in order to come in the ring. And he came and he got another second place. So that is typical Hasse story. And a fantastic memory.
Wow. And your other two?
And the other two women's. I have already mentioned her, Nene Rundsten from Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
She's still with us. So I thought that now I have two men that are not, sadly not with us any longer, but the two women's are. And Nene, I got my first whippet from her in 1990, and I had several whippets from her during the years, and she has been a great mentor for me. A lovely person and a great breeder of not only whippets, but deerhounds, Norwich terriers, often pinscher, and yeah, she's a fantastic person. And the fourth is Diane Anderson, living in Norway for many years.
Yes.
And she was a mentor for me when I started out, when I started to show my Dalmatians, when I started to judge. She was a great mentor. She's now living in the US, but we are still good friends, and she means a lot to me. So these four would be my my choice, but it's the table is too small to come.
All right, I'll throw you under the bus now. If you had to invite two famous people, would you off the top of your head, two famous people?
Two famous people. Yeah.
Would you be?
Yes, for me, Hasse is the first man I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sent me a photograph of yourself. I
Yeah.
think stewarding for.
Yes.
All very young.
That was in the 80s. That was the same show that he was speaking about, this French.
The French bulldog.
Yeah. This is up in the mountains, just some kilometers so for me in Oppdal. Some of our foreign judges has been there. It's a beautiful place, and there's it's in the 80s. Great memory.
Your funniest or most embarrassing experience as a judge or exhibitor?
Yes, I have a quite embarrassing one as a judge. I have never told it before, but it's many years ago, so I can do it now. I was doing a group in one of the Eastern countries, Eastern Europe, and it was in the finals in the afternoon, and I was prejudging, and I was told I was going to place 3, and I looked at the podium and I saw it was 1, 2, 3. So and I was told to place them in reverse order.
Okay.
So I put 3 fingers up in the air and placed number 3, and didn't look behind my back. And then I placed number 2 with 2 fingers in the air. And then I looked back and I saw in that group there were only 2 placings. So the third one, she had went to the second spot because she understood the language, and the second one, he went to the first spot. So that was very embarrassing, I can promise you.
What to do?
What to do? So I didn't do anything, but it was not very. I was not very happy at that moment.
And if you could be transported to another country, do you have a favorite country you'd love to go to? Live in?
Many. I have to mention. I have already mentioned Iceland.
Yes.
I love the country. I love the people there. I love the dogs. I love everything with that country. And all to my Aussie friends, you know how much I love that continent. I've been to Australia 8 times. I should have been there this year as well, but sadly not. I love Australia. And I love Italy, not only because of the dogs and the people and the climate, but yeah, everything, the food and the wine and everything. So it's very different from Norway, but lovely. And of course the mecca of dogdom is the UK, the British Isles. The when I come to Crufts or to England in general, I really feel something special. And to church there is something special. So now I have many favorite spots in the world.
Right. So to finish off, Arne, you sent me a couple of other random photographs, which I'm going to put up now, and you're going to explain what they are, because they look extraordinarily funny. I'm going to put them up. What's this about?
No, no, this is just I just sent some photos I found. It's just to tell you that you have to be serious when you are judging, but it's also another factor. You have to not be too you have to
have a sense of humor.
Yeah, correct.
And then not only are you a all breeds judge, but you are obviously a breed specialist in
Yes, this is from Sydney Royal. This one was best in show, and he came to visit the dog show. So I found this photo so nice. I love this myself.
Did you give it an excellent?
Yes, of course. It was my best in show too. It's from Sydney Royal. Yeah.
And finally.
Yeah, that's I'm working as a teacher 2 days a week, and on that school, it's a private school. They have a I'm teaching dogs and at anatomy and everything, but there are also horses there, and this is very newly born. So I love this one.
And Per Iverson has just commented that you went under the nickname of Little Hasse when you started out first. Is that true?
I have never heard that, and I don't think that is. No. That is. The shoes are too big, but it's so nice to hear from Per, because Per is one of the greatest ambassadors for Norwegian dogdom. Judging a lot in the UK and everywhere in the world, and a great person and judge, absolutely.
And a very honest judge.
Absolutely, yeah.
Arne, thank you very much for joining us tonight. It's been very interesting. The comments have been fantastic. Everybody has enjoyed it. I hope you stay well and that we get to see you soon. My guest next week will be from the UK, and I'm very much looking forward to interviewing Jeff Horswell, which I think will be a very interesting interview. But in the meantime, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Thank you once again, Arne.
It was great to be with you. Yeah.
It's great to see you. Hopefully we will see you in the flesh in the not too distant future.
I do hope so. Yes.
And in the meantime, everybody stay safe, get vaccinated, and don't forget to support the Old English Sheepdog Club of Ireland Walk into the Darkness into Light appeal next Saturday, the 8th of May. Thank you very much for watching, and good night.
Good night. Good night.